Yo, everyone, what's up? Today we're gonna take a look at Enlisted's newest fancy premium squad, the Werewolf Partisans. And we're gonna find out how good they are and whether they're worth getting. And in the end we will spend 1 minute talking about the British equivalent, the not so good Thompson squad. So, what's so special about this squad? Unlike other partisans who are limited to SMGs and a few other weak guns, these come with assault rifles. Even better, assault rifles with suppressors. Now this gives you two significant advantages. First of all, this squad can actually be played effectively at BF5, where usually assault rifles are played over SMGs, giving them a strong advantage over any normal type of partisan squad you might have there, who cannot equip assault rifles. And the suppressor gives you a strong advantage when you are the first one to shoot at an enemy, because the enemies won't notice you, especially not if you far enough away. They won't hear you and they won't react to you. Not even normal players, but especially bots. They are coded in a way that they don't react to people shooting with suppressors. So you will always, if you position yourself intelligently, have the first shots on the enemies, and with a bit of good aim and a bit of good positioning, you can easily wipe away 3 or 4 enemies without them shooting back. Eventually they will find out where you are, yes, but you already killed half of the squad. So this is the strong advantage they have, which also perfectly plays together with the usual way of using partisans in a defensive setup where the enemies just captured your point and the front line moved forward, but you're still in the old point, now meaning you're behind enemy lines, where enemies won't expect you at all. And since you shoot at them from behind with your suppressed gun, they have no chance to really deal with you. On offense they're also okay, though as for all partisans they're much more effective on defense. Now, to sum up the advantages, they get all the normal partisan advantages, meaning you get your 5-man squad with the same rifles. So here you have 5 assault rifles. Usually you cannot get that. If you play an assaulter squad on BF5, you can only have 4 assault rifles and your 4 assaulters. So that's a nice upgrade. Then you have your very mobile way of playing the squad, especially since they come with a sprinting perk right from the go. They can infiltrate the enemy gray zone, and they have the advantage of having 5 TNT charges with them. So these are advantages. What are the disadvantages? Well, the 5-man with 5 specialists, 5 assault rifles, comes at the cost of being only 5 men, which on lower BRs isn't too much of a problem with many new players, but once you start running into sweat stacks that almost all play 9-man rifleman squads with full auto rifles, well, that becomes a problem. That becomes a problem, and the advantage of having the suppressed gun turns into less of an advantage, but more of a way to cope with the numerical disadvantage. So the 5-man size actually is a bit of a problem. But nevertheless, you can't get higher numbers for a partisan squad, since the tech tree also limits partisans to 5 men, so that's quite fine. And the other disadvantage is you don't have any specialists, you only have 5 partisans, so no engineers and no radio men, which are very important. No anti-tank gunner, though that's not too much of a loss since you have your infinite TNT charges on you. Now, what's the best way to build, equip and perk these special soldiers? Well, as all partisans, you want to go for a lot of firepower and for very fast gameplay. Since they come with the ability to have 2 guns, you want to give them of course a second gun. Only problem is, what should it be? Don't do the mistake of giving them an assault rifle. They might be unique in the ability of having an assault rifle as partisans, but it cannibalizes the ammunition of the first one. So don't fall victim to this optical bug. You don't get additional 90 bullets. No, this gun will take the bullets from the first 210. So you want to give them an SMG instead, preferably the strongest German SMG you can get, which would be with the Kirali. And also nicely improving your overall ammunition count to around 400. So this would be the best standard setup. If you've been playing from before the merge, an MP717 is also great. Or if you have the gold order Condors, this would be the best option, giving you almost 450 bullets and a ton of firepower. So yeah. And for the average equipment, of course, give them an X, since you want to be fast and mobile. Give them, of course, a pistol, flask, binoculars, and so on. Always give them a TNT charge. You can give them a mine, of course, yes, but unlike normal soldiers, if you give them one TNT charge, they will end up with 5. So yeah, of course, you want to use this advantage. And regarding grenades, I prefer Molotov, since they're very fast to use, and also quite strong against tanks, blinding them, and making it easy to jump on them or flank them from the side and then blow them up. Or if you get lucky, just burning through their engine deck and then just exploding the engine. And also quite fun to use against APCs and so on. And don't forget the medkit, of course. And if you have them, of course, put swords on them. Now, regarding perks, there are 2 ways to perk them. This would be the fast running perk, like the super fast mobility version. You give them, since they are basically soldiers of level 2, they're not assaulters 4, which is another disadvantage. If you play them on BR5, usually you would be able to play assaulters 4, which get plus 12 overall points, like these dudes. They get overall, yes, they get plus 7, plus 5, overall plus 12. These dudes only get plus 6, so you're not drowning in perk points, so you have to be economical. You can only afford 16 green to spend, and this is exactly what you can put into your fast printing. Which is great, since it nicely harmonizes with the plus 5 natural starting perk, giving you insanely fast soldiers. So this is my preferred combo. The alternative for this would be the fancy setup of having the fast aiming version, and then just a bunch of good green filler perks. Yeah, you can just do whatever you want. You can even mix them. For example, you can make the first soldier the fast sprinter, fast runner, and then the last ones the fast aimers. This is what I personally went for, since usually if you take the first soldier, you really want to be quickly at a certain area on the map. But after he died, you already know where the enemies are, and this is where you want to start to be sneaky and careful. And for these situations, being able to aim quickly is great. Also great, since these soldiers usually, like the last surviving soldiers, can be used to climb on top of buildings like in Berlin, which soldiers without this perk can't, and then get you into very nice flanking and ambushing positions. So yeah, mixing these 2 different green perk philosophies within your squad is the optimal way. And then, of course, you want to give them stamina, since being fast without a lot of additional stamina isn't too effective. You want to give them breath holding, since, well, if you have these, well, you don't need it for the STGs. You also don't need it if you don't hold breath while shooting. But if you have these SMGs with lots of bullets, yeah, breath holding can become useful. Alternatively, you can also just put 1 into stamina regeneration, though it's not too effective, so I try to have them in breath holding. Then you want, of course, vitality, and for the yellow you want as much as you can in vertical recoil reduction. The STGs may have not too much recoil, but still, having so much recoil reduction makes them literally a laser. So this is very nice to have, and then the rest just the good yellow filler perks. Regarding their appearance, here's the situation. They start with a darker version. Like, you can give them this version with the net put up instead of hanging down the face. Yeah, you can also buy them this darker, well, autumn pattern, more browner one. Yeah, I personally prefer just the bright green one, the spring one, much cooler. Now you can also change their vest. You can either have this bright spring pattern or also once again this dark autumn pattern. And for the pants, you can either give them well, also once again either spring pattern or autumn pattern. Make sure that if you want to look them really fashionable, just make it fitting. And unlike normal Technology squads, you can actually make them perfectly fitting. Some uniforms for the Germans can't be made perfectly fitting, but these ones can. So yeah, this is quite good. Now, what about the Americans? well, this is where the pain begins. Even with the advantage of the Americans being a BF4 squad by nature, so you can theoretically play them in BF4, though you would only want to play them in BF5 anyway, since like you would want to combine them with, first of all, you will barely play BF4 Americans, and secondly, you want to combine them with the strong 50 round Thompson, also perfectly maximizing the overall amount of ammo you have. Now, here the three big disadvantages of the American squad. First of all, the weapon itself sucks because it has some of the worst sights in the game. It doesn't have any iron sights, so aiming is a pure pain in the butt, especially on enemies further away. From short range, it's not a problem, but on further away enemies, it is a problem. Now, the problem with this, though, is why should I use a silent stealthy gun on short range enemies? Like, I want to shoot the enemies on far away, because on short range they can hear you walking. They don't need to hear you shooting, they could hear you walking. Also, they can hear you charging. So, yeah, you really want to land the first hits with your silenced gun and then switch to the secondary gun and finish them off. But this is not really possible with this. This weapon is just... it's annoying to use, and it's even detrimental to use because it will delay your aiming speed, because you will always have to spend 1 second before you land your first shot, and you always miss a few bullets due to that, meaning you don't have a 30 round magazine, you have a 25 or 20 round magazine, which is absolutely not good. Yeah. Then they come with their cool commando knife, which is nice, yes, but you can't take it off. You can't take it off. Problem is, if you don't have an X, you can't charge. So these dudes cannot charge. Not good. They are maybe specially trained commandos, but for some reason they haven't learned how to run, according to Gaijin, okay. And yes, you get the 50% sprinting bonus, but you still want to charge. Yeah, you still want to charge. Yeah, it has some synergy. The enemies can't hear you while you're screaming, but due to the charge. But yeah, it's another disadvantage overall. Yeah, and the third disadvantage is, as an overall package, these dudes are simply over-tiered. Like, this gun is not a BF4 gun. Even if it had normal sights, or if it had normal sights, you could argue, but it's simply not strong enough. It has an insane fire rate, but it has an insane shot deviation. This is effectively a 20 round gun. This is not a 30 round gun, effectively speaking, this is a 20 round gun. And if this squad would be downranked to be a 3, I would say it's okay. It's still annoying to use due to the sides, but it would be okay and fair. But since Gaijin refuses to downrank squads like these, yeah, it's sadly basically unplayable. It's not really... You can play it though, but you much rather play just the standard assaulters on BF5. Give them a Thompson, give them a Hyde, which these can't even get, since unlike the German ones they can't use... STGs. By the way, it would be great if they could use a Hyde assault rifle for long range, and then use this on short range, since the Hyde has good sights. But nope, that's not even possible, sadly. So yeah, overall, not too much of a good squad. It's a very cool squad, very cool concept. They have quite the cool uniforms, though you can't make them. Yeah, you can give them these cool Norwegian sweaters, but yeah, that's also the pinnacle of fashion they can get. You can't make them look as cool as the German ones. Yeah. Also, their green beret has a wrong icon, which is, yep, it ruins the immersion if they have a wrong icon, despite being a famous special commando unit. So yeah. Overall, the verdict for the British squad, not worth getting, absolutely not worth getting. It's way too weak and not really fun to use. But the German squad is definitely worth getting. It's very fun, it's immersive to play, it's cool, it's unique. And since silenced guns are always a nice thing to have, very nice to play, I usually don't use them on offense. On offense, assaulter squads or rifleman squads are much better, especially against sweaty enemies, who also spam constantly rifleman squads, and you need the mass, you need the amount of men. But on defense, this is where these dudes start shining, and the enemies just don't have any chance. If you play really focused, which is also very fun, since you can role play these special dudes, well, this is where the enemies start feeling your advantage of shooting at them and them not knowing where the bullets are coming from. Alright, that's it. Let me know what you think and what your experiences were so far, either using them or playing against them. And if you like the video, make sure you like and of course subscribe if you're new. And until soon, goodbye.